Right, welcome to this Vanners collaboration this month, and we're talking about the top 5 things to think about when you're planning a motorhome holiday. And I think this is probably the most difficult one we've ever done, isn't it?
I don't know why really, but it's because we're supposed to be good at planning, aren't we? But
yeah. Well, you're good at planning. So what Jenny's done here is she's written down 5 things that she thinks is important when you're planning a holiday. So I'm just going to go through it, and perhaps we'll talk about it. And if you've got any sort of comments or thoughts about it, perhaps you can put them down in the comments as well whilst we do it. So just a different way of doing things, really. So the first thing is, what is the budget? How much can you afford, and how much do you want to spend? So when we went on our 16-day tour in Scotland in October last year, it cost the following: a total of just over £1,000. And in normal times, we'd probably buy less groceries and meals out, but you obviously got the fees and the fuel costs would be about the same. So I mean, I was looking at that, and I think probably what's important there is that to know how much a trip is going to cost, you need to know how much previous trips cost. That's right. So if you think I want another 15-day trip to Scotland, we know the last one cost us £1,000. Yeah, so that's quite important if you're working on a budget, or if you need to know how much you're spending on a holiday or a trip. Yeah, that's right. The other thing I thought of was that you perhaps need to allow a little bit of money for any expenses that you didn't foresee. I mean, once we had to buy a tyre, didn't we? Yeah, so, if you get a puncture, car, things like that. Have an emergency fund, I suppose that's the other thing. That's right, yeah. And the next thing I've got on the list is, where do you want to go? So which areas of the UK or perhaps Europe or elsewhere do you want to go? I mean, this is a sort of vital part of the planning, isn't it? Where do you want to go? Yeah. Do you want to relax for several days somewhere, or do you want to travel around, moving on 2 or 3 days, a bit like we often do? And what's the furthest destination or point that you want to go to? Once you know that, you know how long you've got to get back, because you might be limited 2-3 weeks, or that's right. Yeah, I mean 2-3 months, whatever. Trips I'm thinking of as last year in Scotland, we went to Culloden Moor. That was the furthest. Yeah. Then we turned around and started coming from home. Yeah. When we went on our Euro trip 2018, the furthest point was Rudesheim on Rhine. Yeah. And the famous ferry was the furthest point. Then we started to make our way back. And I always try and do that. Where's the furthest we're going to go? Yeah. And how long will it take us to get there? And then we've got to think about coming back. Ideally not the same way, but in a big circle. The next thing is, when do you want to go and how long do you want to stay? And that's going to depend on when you get the time off for a lot of people if you're working. Right, yeah. If they've got any appointments, we'd be looking at whether Poppy has to go to the groomers, or we have to go to the dentist or that sort of thing. So unless you're full time, you have to base it around the various things that perhaps you have to do. So you can't be away that particular week or 3 weeks because you've got a lot of appointments. No. And it's also the time of year you want to go. Some campsites are going to be closed in the winter, so you might not want to go to those, but some stay open all year. Yeah, Moffat, Ferry Meadows, places like that are open all year. Others close early November and don't open until mid-March. Yeah. So that you've got to bear that in mind, especially if you're going in the winter. Yeah. Okay. Next thing is, who's going on the trip? So if you're taking children or grandchildren with you, you may need to go somewhere different to where you would be going if we were just going on our own, I suppose. That's right. Disneyland springs to mind. Yeah, campsite near Disneyland. That's it, yeah. And if you've got pets, you need to check, pets are allowed. Some campsites don't allow pets. And, are there any restrictions on numbers of pets? Sometimes some campsites don't allow more than 1 or 2. Found that in France, didn't we? Because there were several that only allowed 1, and we were taking 2. Yeah. So you always got to check that. Got to check that. And if you're travelling abroad with pets, you need to check all the latest travel requirements that you've got. And you've got the animal health certificate now and that sort of thing. And plus, obviously, any rules for yourself as well. Yeah, like passports and things like that. I think that will probably be ruling out international travel for us this year, but probably next year that will come more to the fore. We really have to check, what you have to do now. Yeah. And the final thing you've got on here is, what activities do you want to do? So you've got if we go to English heritage sites or National Trust, particularly at this time, in this crisis, that you have to often pre-book before you go to these places. You can't just simply turn up. So you need to check, what's available, where you're going, when you want to, and what you want to see.
Yeah, and booking early in the day is great, isn't it, for a castle?
Yeah, it's highly recommended. If you're going somewhere, book early in the day, get there early, and then you often beat the crowds and
yeah, that's right.
Have a better time. So I think that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, if you've got any comments or what you think is important when you're planning a trip or a tour, let us know. And if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the notifications icon, and you'll get updates when we release another one.
And watch the other videos in the playlist.
Yeah, and don't forget to watch the other videos.
Which will probably be far more informative than...
Yeah, I'm trying to think where they're going to be now. They'll be about, about here.
There, yeah. Okay.
So thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Bye then.